Tania, you were once a One Nation MP yourself. You have to admit they're
even a leader.
Even a leader, but you have to admit they're doing pretty well. Why?
Oh, look, I think David's said it quite well. When the Liberal Party has its issues, there will be votes that bleed to the right, and that's what's happened here. I think people see that Pauline Hanson herself, she's a strong leader. I'm not going to disparage her personally. I know that she is a strong leader. She's certainly strong in her views. She's quite different in her approach from, say, Susan Ley in that context. But look, David has said quite rightly that they had problems with their party administration years ago, and I would have to say nothing's changed. I think the biggest problem that One Nation has is that they don't have the structure or the ability to have to be an alternative government. Okay, that's the problem. They are a party like the Greens. They can raise issues, they can raise policies, they can campaign on matters, but they're never going to have the structure or the capacity or the means to actually form or be part of a government. And that's where, in the end, you just need to explain to people that the Liberal Party does have the capacity, and normally has had the capacity, to have both moderates and Conservatives in its structure, and it has a structure. My experience in the 20 months that I was in One Nation, there are very few branch meetings, there are very few opportunities for grassroots control or leadership. I think in the end decisions are made top down in that party, and that's why a lot of people leave.
Well, I mean, they're certainly doing well in the polls because they're bleeding. The Liberal Party is bleeding voters, and people are looking for an alternative at the moment, and clearly One Nation's providing that. Let's talk about the public sector workforce in federal, state and local governments. It's increased by 82,000 jobs in the 2024-25 financial year to nearly 2.6 million. It means taxpayers are paying $249.5 billion, up from $231.7 billion the year before. David, we've got record spending as it is. Now the public sector workforce is blown out. Is this not more evidence why we need a Doge-style department to make cuts?
Well, if not a Doge-style department, a department that is going to identify where those jobs are actually needed. We need cops, we need soldiers. So they are public sector jobs that we need to have employed on the taxpayer's dime. We don't need cardigan-wearing biscuit munchers that are sitting in offices in the city of Sydney or in some regional centre because they need to generate a job in that particular electorate, and that is unfortunately what happens. So I think before I slash public service jobs, I want to highlight where they're going and where they're needed, and I think we need to direct people into those areas. I mean, I know in the engineering fraternity the government just can't attract good engineers, not that they're spending record numbers in infrastructure at the moment, but if they were to do that, we would need more engineers in the public sector. That is important. Yeah. But a clerk in an office in suburban Sydney is obviously not. It's not
viable. I mean, we do need emergency services. I think that's a fair point. But 82,000 additional jobs, I don't know how that can be justified realistically.
I think right now it's only Canberra that's booming and everybody else is going bust. That's what's actually happening in Australia. Look, Albanese has always loved, and Labor loves having a large bureaucracy. That's what they're about. And Chris Minns as well is following suit. Labor has absolutely expanded its public service in every state and territory that they are currently governing. So, what we're seeing is a lull in productivity growth, and small businesses are desperate now for some incentives from government, some support. Jim Chalmers was just saying it today. I think that that's the problem. He can recognise that there's a productivity growth problem in Australia. Well, what are you doing about it?
Well, exactly.
Put the handbrake on the bureaucracy and start supporting small business.
Exactly. Well, I don't know why anyone would want to go into business right now in this country. I mean, there's a lot of issues, and Labor's certainly not helping. Before we go, we've got to talk about your column today in the Daily Telegraph. Today's column
Words of wisdom.
If I was a dictator for a day. Go on, tell us your points here, David.
Well,
what would you do?
I am an economic rationalist, but we subsidise heavily public transport on gazetted public holidays. So let's give mum and the kids a free trip to the Blue Mountains, and it creates economic activity, and it also gets the drunks off the roads. Let's stop giving how to get out of jail free cards to kids 3 times in a week.
Yes, I like
that. Let's make sure that they know that a second chance is a privilege, not a right. Let's highlight the fact that Australian history shouldn't be dismissed. I mean, we've got people out there dyeing their hair purple and burning the flag.
And doing all sorts.
On issues that they've never read a book about. So Yeah, I got a bit cranky
I
when I
like
wrote
that.
that.
Tanya, what do you reckon?
Look, it starts off okay, free public transport. I think if the devil's in the detail. I read your article properly, David, and I don't know about this one negative gearing property. For,
I don't think
that's a
that
bit
we should be-
unfair. We should be supporting aspirational.
No, with
people
one,
being aspirational.
with one. We shouldn't be allowing
What
people
did
to
John
have...
Howard say? The more, it's up to you to invest.
No,
so
well,
that's
invest
not very
somewhere else.
liberal
Don't
of
deny
you.
a family a home.
Can I just say one we haven't mentioned yet? Make the ABC a subscription service.
That was a good one. There you go.
I'll concur. Definitely will concur with that
They're all
one.
dribblers. I'm sick of paying for that.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all? We've got to go. David Elliott, Tania Mihailuk, good to have you both on. Have a nice weekend. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining me.